A bright day. We have some cloud, not much. We had a little bit of rain earlier, and it is rather windy as well. We are back together again. It is English Addict coming to you live and direct from the birthplace of the English language. We all know where it is. I know, you know, everyone knows. It is, of course, England. We are back, everyone. Did you miss us? Did you miss myself? Did you miss Mr. Steve? Did you miss all of this craziness? Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you feeling happy today? I hope so. I hope there is a smile on your face because we are talking about being happy today. I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan. These days it would appear that it's much harder to be happy about things, but I think there are more happy people around on the planet than a lot of people ever mention. So I think a lot of people have some sort of happiness. You can't be happy all the time. I think you would go crazy if you were always happy. You have to have the ups and downs. I think so. That is what life is all about, I think. Sometimes it is good. You can smile easily, and sometimes it is not so easy to have a smile on your face. Sometimes it is not so easy. My name is Duncan. I talk about English, by the way. I am an English addict. You might say I am crazy about English. Some people, of course, just say that I am crazy. I don't know what they mean by that. I really don't. It's nice to be back with you today. Sunday is here again. Every Sunday I am live on YouTube from 2 p.m. UK time, and today is no exception. We are all here together again. I suppose I should also mention, coming up later on today on the live stream, he is back with us. Mr. Steve will be here. He will be live in the studio telling us all of the things he has been getting up to. It might not take very long because he hasn't been up to much this week. However, we do have a lot of busy things, a lot of activities coming up over the next few weeks, certainly during the month of June, early June. Last week I revealed that we are having a rendezvous once again. Last year it was in Paris. This year we are meeting up at the start of June in Italy. We are going to meet up in Rome. Already we have 3 people who are definitely going to meet up with us. If you are interested, send an email to me and say, Mr. Duncan, when is it? Please tell me when you are meeting up in Rome. So that is where we are meeting. It is near the beginning of June. All of the details I will give you if you send me an email to my email address. I will give you all of the details a little bit later on. Steve will be here. We are talking about being happy. I have to say, I do need cheering up today. I don't normally like to talk about my personal life too much, but I suppose I should mention my lovely mum, because tomorrow it is my mother's birthday. The 29th of April, my mother's birthday. Sadly, we lost my mum last year. So this will be the first birthday of my mother where she will not be here. So, yes, a sad one. I won't be very happy tomorrow. I will definitely be deep in thought tomorrow. So can I just say happy birthday to my lovely mum? We miss you all of the family. We miss you very much, including myself. And that's all I can say, really. Happy birthday, mum. For tomorrow, we are back here again, live as live can be. So I hope we can have a little bit of fun here on the live stream. It is very nice to see you here. Who was first on today's live chat? We have, joining today, we have Vitas and also Francesca. Hello, Francesca. Nice to see you here today. Thank you very much, Vitas, Francesca, and also Florence. You were all very quick with your fingers today. I like it. I like it very much when people have a very fast finger. There is a lot going on outside at the moment in the garden because all the birds have been building their nests and then they dropped their eggs and then the eggs hatched out. And now, guess what? We have lots of baby birds flying around the garden all over the place, and the parents are very busy feeding them. It is always a happy and also sad time because, of course, many of the babies will not survive. Unfortunately, we have a lot of predators around here, including sparrowhawks, buzzards. We even have kestrels as well around here, all living in the wild. So at this time of year, when a lot of the baby birds are flying around because they are still learning about their surroundings, and there are always lots of dangers lurking around nearby. So it's nice to see them, but I'm hoping that they will all survive, even though deep down I know they won't, but I hope they will. Hello also to Palmyra. We also have, yes, he is here, Luis Mendez is here today. Who else is here? Maria, Valentin, Beatriz is here as well. I believe we will be seeing you during our roam around Rome, which is happening at the start of June. If you want all the details, please send me an email. Thank you very much. Mosen is here. Also, Nabil Bashir is here. Thank you very much for joining me. Who else is here? Saika Afridi says hi. Hi to you as well. Thank you very much for joining me. There are new lessons, by the way. I have been very busy, incredibly busy, posting short videos with lots of brief, concise information. If something is concise, it means it is short. So all of the information has been put into a very small, maybe a small sentence or a short paragraph. Something is very concise. I suppose you might see that word quite often on the front of dictionaries. So a dictionary will often be either long, so we have the long form of the dictionary, or of course, quite often there is a concise version of the dictionary. Probably the one that we are all familiar with, the Oxford Dictionary, concise. It is something that has been shortened and all of the important information is there and all of the unimportant information has been left out. It is concise. So there are lots of concise lessons on my YouTube channel, short lessons, and I hope you are enjoying them. I really do. Tom is here. Hello, Tom. Nice to see you back with us as well. Who else is here? Inaki. Zudzika is here as well. Florence. Hello to Florence. Very nice to see you here as well. Claudia. Hello, Claudia. I suppose I should say, what's cooking, Claudia? What have you got in your pot? What's cooking, Claudia? Is it something spicy and hot? Is it something salty or not? Oh, Claudia, what is in the pot? What is in your pot today? Talking of pots, I did some cooking. I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan. You never ever cook anything in the kitchen. Well, guess what? Last week I did. I cooked the most delicious meal for Mr. Steve, and we will be having a look at that a little bit later on as well. So as you can see, there are a lot of things that we are going to talk about today on the live stream. Being happy, what makes you happy? Where do you find your happiness? Are you always happy? I have to say, even from my own point of view, I am not always happy. Sometimes things make me unhappy, miserable, maybe even a little bit down. But fortunately, it doesn't last very long. So I think it is fair to say that we all have ups and downs in life. I think it is quite a normal thing to have. So later on, what makes you happy? We'll be looking at words and phrases connected to being happy. Maybe you are as happy as Larry. A nice English expression. So it is Sunday. I notice on the news that Elon Musk has gone to China. Why? What is going on? Ooh, maybe he's going to start launching his rockets from China. Maybe he needs to sell more of those Tesla cars to the Chinese market. One of the things I have noticed over the past couple of years is China are moving more aggressively into certain markets, certain areas of selling. And I think the big one at the moment that many people are talking about, and this is something that Steve might mention today, is electric vehicles, battery-powered vehicles. And China at the moment is moving quite aggressively into the Chinese market and into the worldwide market of selling electric cars. Apparently within China there are too many electric cars being produced. So in fact in China they have too many, and now they are going to start selling them around the world. So you might say that they are doing it because they have to, because they have made too many cars, too many electric vehicles. So maybe that's the reason why Elon has gone to China. Perhaps he wants to have some of his Starlinks hovering above the Chinese mainland. Something like that, anyway. Hello to Sharaz. Hello to you, Sharaz. Nice to see you here today. Irene is here as well. We have Irene. Thank you very much. Anna is here. Hello, Anna. Anna Wah. Nice to see you here as well. Wow, a lot of people joining in. Very nice to see you. Thank you very much for your kind messages about my mother. It is her birthday tomorrow. Sadly, she passed away last year, and we will be thinking about her tomorrow. Hello, Marianne. Marian says, you speak very well and you cannot understand how difficult it is to be good at speaking a foreign language. You are lucky and happy people. Thank you for your support in learning. Oh, I see. Mr. Duncan, you are one of the most lucky people in the world. The Lord has been generous with you. Well, I'm not sure about that, but I suppose I do have a slight advantage because I was born in England. So I've been learning English for all of my life. A lot of people say, Mr. Duncan, your English is very good. But that is because it is my first language. So I suppose you might say that I have a slight advantage. My advantage is that I was born here and I could practice English for all of my life. But don't forget, and this is something I always mention, I was able to learn English without any other language being in my head. So I've grown up with English, but don't forget, when I was little, when I was a child, I didn't know how to speak any language. So you also have an advantage because you already have a language that you speak. And quite often you will find that many words in English will relate to your language. Not all of the words, I know you are going to say, Mr. Duncan, not all of the words, but you will find there are many similarities, things that are similar. So I always say, I learnt English, but I didn't know any language before then, before that point, because I was a child. I had no other language. You already have a language. So learning English as a second language should be, I don't want to say easier, but you might find that you have more advantages than you realise. You might not even realise how lucky you are as well. Hello, Connell. Hi, Connell. Nice to see you here as well. It always feels like it's been a long time since I last saw you here. I don't know why, but it does. Very strange. Hello, Flower. And also we have William Perdomo, who is here as well. Yes, I suppose my voice is very clear, but then if you are a teacher, quite often you will find an English teacher, or if a teacher is teaching anything, any subject, so not just language, but any subject, you have to be able to understand what the teacher is saying. So even if I was teaching something else like engineering, if you couldn't understand me, if you were unable to understand what I said, you still wouldn't learn the language. So that is the reason why. So if you are teaching anything, the most important thing is that your students can understand you. This is something I used to say many years ago when I was teaching teachers. I was giving teachers advice about the best way to teach. And one of the most important rules of everything is you must be understood. The students must understand you, or else you are wasting your time. Hello, Sahil. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Please talk about the city of Birmingham. Birmingham, of course, is the second capital. You might say that it is the second city. So a lot of people think of London as being the capital, which it is. Many people also see Birmingham as the second city, although there is quite a strong debate about whether or not Manchester is the second city. But some people do. A very big place. I worked in Birmingham for a few years. Not very long, but I did work in Birmingham. It's a big city, very diverse, lots of different types of industry, lots of places to shop and eat. It is a very vibrant city. It has been in the news recently for negative reasons. And that reason is because it went bankrupt. It ran out of money. So at the moment it doesn't really have any money. It can't spend money on extravagant buildings or nice things, unfortunately. So the city of Birmingham at the moment is suffering slightly. because of the overspending, which is never a good thing when you think about it. Pedro is here, or should I say Pedro Belmont is here today. Hello, Pedro. I would love to read books straight from the English language. I read Lord of the Flies recently. Quite a controversial book when it was first published. And of course, there have been a couple of film versions of the book as well. But yes, a rather controversial book, and also the movies as well. Quite violent, in fact. A subject that is not easy to talk about. Talking of movies, I watched a movie yesterday that I've always wanted to watch. To Kill a Mockingbird. I watched that yesterday. An amazing movie. Gregory Peck, of course. He is or was an amazing actor. And I watched it. I've always wanted to watch that film. And you might notice in life there are always things that you want to read, or maybe a movie that you want to watch, but you never actually get to see it. Even though you want to, you don't actually watch it. So yesterday I was very pleased that I had the chance to watch To Kill a Mockingbird. Harper Lee, the authoress of that particular book. A very interesting film and book. And again, another one of those stories that uses a very sensitive topic. Very sensitive topic. Hello, Mr. Duncan. I like to become a native speaker. Do you have any tips? There are many ways of improving your English. Of course, you have to know some words. You have to learn English words. So a lot of learning a language is about putting those words and phrases up here in your head or in your brain. So that is one of my biggest pieces of advice for you. If that is useful, I hope it is. Hello. Yes, Pedro says Lord of the Flies. It is about a group of schoolboys who are stranded on a remote island. Yes, it sounds quite nice actually, doesn't it? A very nice place to go. Maybe they are deserted, but maybe they can survive and live and learn from each other. But it doesn't work out like that. In fact, it is very much the opposite. I always think Lord of the Flies is very similar to Animal Farm by George Orwell. So I always think those two stories are actually very similar. It is a story, both of the stories concern society or a type of society going wrong. So I think so. I think they are both very similar stories, both Lord of the Flies and also Animal Farm as well. Thank you very much for joining me. Mr. Steve will be here in a few moments. So don't panic, don't worry, do not be unhappy, because we are talking about being happy today in a few moments from now. We will also be taking a look at what I was cooking the other night. I was very adventurous in the kitchen. I decided to cook a lovely meal for Mr. Steve. All of that coming up in a few moments from now. So please don't go away. We will have a short break and then we will be back. And Mr. Steve will be here. I know everyone loves the cows. We all love to see the cows, don't we? I think so. English Addict is with you on a Sunday. And yes, of course, I know why you are here. You are not here to see me. You have no interest in me whatsoever. It's not about me, because I know why you are here. You are here because he is also here. We are, of course, talking all about the one, the only, Mr. Steve.
Hello, how are you doing, Mr. Duncan? How are you doing, wonderful, beautiful viewers from across the world? I don't think they're here for me, Mr. Duncan. They're definitely here for you, judging by the comments I can see on the live chat.
Oh, thank you.
About how they like your clear speaking voice. So I must attempt to be as clear as you, because I know in the past people have said they have found it difficult to follow me when I'm speaking. So I will attempt to talk more slowly and more clearly so that you can understand my every word.
I think the problem is, Steve, and this is something I was just talking about. If you're teaching something, it is important to be understood. So one of the things I like to do, I like to speak clearly because I think it's important, but also I like to do it naturally. So it is possible to speak slowly but still be natural. And I think that is the real secret of anyone who wants to teach. You have to make sure that the people who are learning from you can understand what you're saying. So it's not just about learning English, it's anything. So if I was teaching engineering in a large lecture hall, people would have to understand what I was saying. If I was mumbling or maybe you will learn nothing. So that's why, from my own point of view, I think it is quite important that we all speak clearly, especially if we are teaching. And I think that is something we should all think about, especially if you're looking for a good teacher. I think a good teacher is someone who can explain things, especially technical things, Steve. And I think it was Einstein that said this. The sign of a person who knows what they're talking about is a person who can simplify it to make it understandable. And I think that's what it comes down to. So you are trying to make something simple. You are trying to simplify something so it can be understood, even if it's something technical.
Have you finished, Mr. Duncan?
What are you doing, Steve?
Have you finished?
Okay.
You went on for quite a long time then.
It's a bit rude.
The thing is, I get so excited sometimes on the live stream that I start to talk faster and faster. So I will try to slow down. But the thing is, not everybody in England speaks as clearly as Mr. Duncan. No. So you have to listen to somebody who's not an English teacher like me. If you can understand what I'm saying at the pace that I'm saying it at, then you'll be able to come to England and you will be able to understand everything everybody is saying, as long as they don't have an accent or they speak in a strange accent, and then you might find it difficult to understand what they say, Mr. Duncan. Yes.
What accent is that?
I don't know. It's the only one I can do, Mr. Duncan, but it's like a country sort of accent.
It's either a person from Cornwall or it's a pirate.
But yes, I do get excited. I must calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down, Stephen.
And I, of course, will be nice to Mr. Steve. I will listen to everything he says, even though he keeps being rude to me. Did you see what he just did? He was pretending to fall asleep whilst I was giving some very good advice. You see? So, Steve, Elon Musk is in China. It was breaking news around about half an hour ago, just before I came on, in fact. And apparently he's there. Surprise visit. Now I have my own thoughts on this. I think maybe he's going there to beg them to stop selling their electric cars to the rest of the world, because he wants a slice of that market. So what do you think, Steve? Why do you think he's there? Is it something to do with electric cars?
Definitely. Well, he does have a Tesla factory out there, at least one that I know of.
Oh.
But yes, I mean, the market for electric cars, as you might have read in the news, is collapsing. Well, I wouldn't say collapsing is probably an exaggeration, but put it this way, across Europe, people have decided, a lot of people, that they don't want to have an electric car, and that sales have slowed down, and people are going back to petrol and diesel, well, at least petrol. So this has been going on for the last few months. We have, of course, this net zero policy throughout Europe, where part of that process is to get everybody to drive electric cars, but they didn't think it through.
Anyway,
we all know it's not working.
Steve.
And so, I see. So you can go on and on, but when I go on and on about a subject I'm passionate about, you try and cut me off? Well, what
you're doing, Steve, is you're going off onto another tangent. So why is he there?
Well, I think he's there because he needs to sell his electric cars, and he wants probably to come to some agreement that the Chinese will not sell them at much cheaper than his. He's already reduced the price of his quite significantly.
But you know what's happened, don't you? Because they've made too many. So they've actually overproduced.
They've overproduced, and you know what happens if there is a glut, there's a good word for you, too many of something, then the price comes down, supply and demand. If there's no demand and there's a lot of supply, then the price comes down. So if you want an electric vehicle, or as we say, EV, then now's a good time to buy one, because you can get discounts everywhere, and second-hand ones have come down in price. But the thing is, Mr. Duncan, everyone's saying, you can get a discounted electric car now, but you could always get a discounted petrol car. So all that's happened is that the market, thankfully now, is evening out and going back to how it used to be. You could always get a discount on a car.
Anyway, Steve, I've got to stop you there for a second. Because what's happened is, well, apparently in China, no one is buying electric cars anymore, and they've made too many. So what they're going to do is push them out into the worldwide market wherever they can, because they're actually desperate now to sell them.
They're desperate to sell electric cars, but most people have worked out that for them, they're probably not suitable. They're fine. They're fine if you are probably only doing lots of short journeys. And they're a bit of a niche vehicle, really. Anyway, and I couldn't cope with one.
Back to the original point.
Yeah, the original point. He's going there, to strike up some agreement.
Steve, just take it down a notch, please. We've got people tuning in for the first time.
Getting excited.
Okay, Steve, and so we think that's the reason why he's there. So it'd be interesting. Be interested to see what comes out of that, because no one was expecting it. It was actually breaking news. So I thought it was interesting anyway, because it was just something that no one was expecting.
Well, Germany are very worried.
Oh, okay.
Germany are very worried because, Mercedes, Audi, BMW are trying to make electric cars, and they don't want an influx of cheap Chinese electric cars to stop them selling their cars. So there's a lot of problems going on with EVs at the moment, if anyone is reading about that. Probably just me.
I think it might be just you. So the only point I was making is why a very successful businessman would go to a place where the rival, and I suppose in business, and this is something that's quite interesting, in any business, if you think of one business, you can always think of another business that is the competitor or the rival. So I suppose a good example would be iPhones. So Apple, their main competitor would be, I would say, Samsung. So they are competitors. So a company can compete with another company, but also countries as well. So countries are always trying to be on top with certain types of technology, and especially things like electric vehicles. But I think it's an interesting point.
Well, we know what China are good at. They're good at taking other people's ideas and then making them a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Because they've got obviously a workforce and business practices, which means that they can sell things a lot cheaper. They can make them cheaper. And so, I mean, Tesla built a factory over there. I would imagine the Chinese have looked very carefully at how they produce their electric cars and have copied it, and are now churning out their own cars at a vastly reduced cost because they have this competitive advantage.
Yes.
And a lot of countries that want to put tariffs on electric cars from China so that they can be competitive.
That's it then. That's it.
That's my rant of the day.
Was it a rant? I'm not sure what it was.
I like to have a good rant, Mr. Duncan.
It was more like a diatribe.
A rant. Does everybody know what rant means?
Well, it's what you just did.
Yes, you sort of talk excitedly about something and you're passionate, but you want to get it, and maybe it's something that's annoyed you and you want to talk about it a lot and get it out of your head.
Or in your case...
Mind you, as most people say, they can't understand me on the live chat. I'm wasting my time, clearly.
Well, yes.
How rude.
That's why I tell you to slow down and not get so excited.
But as I say, if you can't understand me, you can't understand anyone in England.
Well, okay,
you see,
Steve.
you're spoilt with Mr. Duncan.
Well,
you can understand Mr. Duncan,
Steve.
but not everybody speaks like Mr. Duncan in the UK. You've got to get used to me. I'm clear. My voice is very clear compared to most people in the UK, wouldn't you say, Mr. Duncan?
Not really.
I think I've got a very clear voice.
It's
a very
not-
clear and understandable voice, Mr. Duncan.
Steve, it's not the substance. Sometimes it is just how brief you actually speak for.
This is conversation.
I'm not sure if it is. It is something, but it's not conversation. Mr. Steve, I gave you a lovely treat, didn't I, on Friday night? I made a meal for Mr. Steve. I spent a long time preparing it, and now we're going to look at what was in the oven the other night. I wonder if anyone can guess what it actually is from looking at that photograph. You might be able to see certain things in the oven, and that is something I made for Mr. Steve the other night. A lovely meal.
Well, if people know you, Mr. Duncan, they know what you like to eat.
Yes.
You have been very clear about this over many years, what you like to eat, and I think you have combined a lot of those loves in a dish. Almost the perfect dish for you, Mr. Duncan.
But it might also be unusual for me to do that because I don't normally cook big meals. So I don't normally go to too much trouble. You are very good at that. Mr. Steve is the cook. But I decided to get very adventurous in the kitchen on Friday night, and I made something very nice. It was not pizza, but you are close. You are close. It does have a sort of Italian theme.
Italian.
So I will show you again very quickly. Here it is. So that's what I was baking in the oven, and I will show you another view of the meal. Look at this. Now I want to eat this right now. Look at that, Steve.
Ooh.
So you might be able to see there are potatoes also contained within this meal. We have eggplant. I love eggplant so much. And also lots of garlic, tomato, a special tomato puree sauce with all sorts of herbs as well. And on top you can see lots of melted cheese. So that's what I made the other night. I call it my eggplant, potato and garlic bake. So there it is. A very simple meal to make, but I have to say it was delicious. And we ate it all, didn't we, Steve?
We ate it all. Mr. Duncan specially purchased a very large Pyrex dish, which is a glass dish
Yes.
that is safe in the heat.
So there it is.
Pyrex baking dish.
So that's the dish.
Claudia will recognise those. She does a lot of cooking. I bet she uses Pyrex dishes. And it was so big, I said sarcastically to Mr. Duncan, how many people are we having to dinner? As a sarcastic way of saying, why did you buy such a large dish for just the two of us?
You were rude.
But believe me, we ate it all or ate it all. You
in
can
one
say
go.
I ate it all or I ate it all.
Yes, we actually had it all in one go. So we didn't heat it up the next day. We had the whole thing. So it wasn't too big at all. It was just the right size. And I have to say, I enjoyed it. I don't know why, Steve, but if you make food for yourself, if you cook a meal for yourself, it's never quite the same as when another person cooks the meal for you. But I have to say, I enjoyed it a lot. And I think we might do the same thing next Friday as well.
Well, Mr. Duncan, it was delicious. It's combined at least 4 food types that you love. Potatoes, eggplant, garlic. What else? Yeah, at least 3.
Cheese.
And cheese. That's the one I was looking for.
So,
it was the perfect meal. Tom said, is it got the beef from the cows that you showed in the video? It could do. It's almost like something called...
Steve, it's vegetarian.
It's vegetarian. This is a vegetarian dish, but you could easily convert it into a moussaka, which is a Greek dish which has beef in it. So it's like a vegetarian moussaka in a way.
Yes.
And we thought that we could put beans in there as well, like cannelloni beans or something. You could play around and experiment with this dish, but it was delicious, Mr. Duncan. I was pleasantly surprised. You spent a lot of time preparing it, and it was delicious.
I know. I thought it was amazing. By the way, eggplants over here, we call them aubergines. So aubergine,
yes,
is eggplant. So in American English, in the States, they often say eggplant. Here we say aubergine.
Some people are recognising that dish from their own countries. So in Kurdistan, they call it tapsi. Whether that means the eggplants, maybe not the whole dish. And some people are calling it... Yeah, we could put Parmesan cheese with it. Parmigiana di melanzane at all.
Are you okay?
I'm trying to learn Italian, Mr. Duncan, because obviously...
I thought you were having a stroke.
We're going to Italy. People think I'm getting upset about people saying I speak too quickly. I'm not really. No. I'm not really getting upset. But at all. So don't worry. It's just me being funny.
Anyway, or whatever it is. We are going away in June. For those who are interested, by the way, I'm going to put the details very quickly on the screen because now you've mentioned it, I think it's a good opportunity to actually put it up. So we are off to Italy. We are going to roam around Rome. I might call it that. It's quite good. It's quite a good little title, I think. So we are going to roam around Rome during the beginning of June, not the actual dates. If you want to know when we are doing it, please send an email. I will quickly put the email address on the screen as well. There it is. So there is my email address if you want to come and join us in Rome, Italy. We will be roaming around. If you roam, It means you are moving. You are going from one place.
R-O-A-M. Is that right, Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
R-O-A-M to Rome, but obviously it's also the capital, R-O-M-E, pronounced the same way,
yes,
of Italy.
Named after Romulus.
Ah,
did you know that?
Romulus.
And his brother. Do you know his brother's name?
Fred?
No, Remus.
Romulus and Remus. There's a book about that.
Yes. They're also they are also planets in Star Trek.
Yes.
Yeah, you see.
Being used. I'll tell you who we haven't seen for a couple of weeks is Giovanni Rivetti, who is normally on the live streams. We haven't seen him for a couple of weeks. I bet he would be quite excited to learn that we were going to his home country. And might want to meet up with us, but I haven't seen Giovanni for a couple of weeks. So maybe he's on holiday somewhere, which is good, because if he's on holiday now, it means he'll be free in June.
So just to mention again, we are going to Rome. We are going to Italy at the start of June. Send an email to me and give me your name. Tell me that you are interested in joining and meeting up. We have at least 3 people at the moment, Steve. I think 3 people have confirmed, and of course us. So there are 5 already. That's incredible.
It is 5.
Well, including us.
Oh, including us, right? Okay, yes. Well, I'll definitely be there. Yes.
Good. Well, in person at least.
I'm saying hello to It's Happy Prince 121. Haven't seen you before, so hi, special hi from us. But I'm seeing some other people that I haven't seen for a long time as well. Saeed is here. Of course, we've got lots of our usual people watching, and thank you for your lovely greetings. As well. Francesca asks about Prince Charles.
Oh, yes. As you know, the King of England, as he is known, the artist formerly known as Prince Charles. Do you like that? He hasn't been very well, but good news this week. He is going back to work. whatever that is, whatever his work actually is. So going around the country opening fetes and new hospitals and new buildings. There was always a joke. Do you remember the Queen of England? She was lovely. I miss the Queen of England.
Lizzie.
I miss Elizabeth II. I will be honest with you, because of course she passed away a couple of days before your mother, Steve.
She did, yes.
So it's always something that sticks in the mind, and I do miss her. I have to say, everything doesn't seem the same anymore. Is it my imagination, or has everything sort of changed since she went away? Anyway, the good news is King Charles is back at work, doing whatever it is he does. I'm not sure.
Keeping the country together.
I think it's safe to say we work harder than any of the royal family. I think so. I just wish we had their money.
He is the glue that keeps us all together.
Yes. Anyway, the good news is he's much better. His treatment has gone well, and it looks as if he is on the mend.
We don't know what it was, Francesca. He did say he'd got cancer, but we don't know what type of cancer, so we don't know.
So we will see what happens.
Nobody knows. It's a big secret.
Anyway, it is coming
about Princess. What's her name?
Princess what's her name?
That's her name.
Sorry, Steve. Is there a member of the royal family called Princess what's her name?
Kate.
Yeah.
To give her a more precise name, her name would be Princess Kate.
Princess Kate. Is that literally what they call her?
Do they call her the Duchess of something?
The Duchess of something?
I don't know what her official title is.
It's good. This is good, Steve. I'm enjoying all of this royal chit-chat from Mr. Steve.
Probably the Princess of Wales, maybe.
I have to say, I am a little bit confused. The reason why I'm confused is because when the Queen left us and King Charles became king, then of course they changed all of the titles. And I'm still confused, because whenever anyone says the Princess of Wales, I always think of Diana,
Yes.
of course. It's very hard. Whenever anyone says the Princess of Wales, I always think of Diana.
Well, William is the Prince of Wales, isn't he?
William, yes.
So she must be the Princess of Wales, but nobody ever refers to her as that because of the association with Diana.
That's it. Yes,
So
I think so.
it's just Katie.
Katie. They call
Kate
her-
or Katie. I think people normally... What do they call her? Princess? I can't remember what they officially call Prince William's wife. But she, of course, has been also quite ill. Again, we don't know what the problem really is, but because we haven't been told about it, which we thought was very strange at the time, particularly with Prince Charles, because he openly came out and said that he'd got a prostate problem, didn't he? He said, I've got a prostate problem. I'm going to hospital to have my prostate reduced in size.
Okay.
Which is quite a thing to talk about.
It is really.
You know, it's quite a personal thing for him to share that. Very unusual.
Steve, I'm not sure if anyone wants to hear about King Charles's prostate,
Yes,
or anyone's prostate.
That's what exactly. You wouldn't normally, but he talked about this. But then when it came to his cancer diagnosis, he didn't tell us what cancer it was.
No.
So I thought that was strange that he would talk about his prostate and tell us all about his
Okay.
prostate problems, but
God.
not tell us what type of cancer he's got.
Stop saying prostate.
Well, you know, it's a word. It's a word in the English language, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah.
This is an English teaching channel. You have to know about prostate. Don't get it confused with prostrate. Prostate is the organ that a man has. Prostrate.
What's it for, Steve?
Pardon?
What's it for? The prostate.
I'll let people look that up. We're not a medical channel. Let's just say it sits between the bladder and it surrounds the urethra. Let's just go that far.
Is it? I call it the love muscle.
You would. But anyway, that's your prostate. But if you are prostrate, it means you are like that,
What?
bowing down.
Yes.
Maybe when you meet the king, you have to prostrate to his prostate.
Okay.
Because maybe you have to bow to the king. You have to be prostrate.
Although I think
the
the king, Steve, the king would have to have his back to you. When you think about it.
Well, anyway, that's too much detail. But yes,
This is just far too much. I think we've gone right over the edge, to be
don't
honest.
get those two words mixed up because people will laugh at you.
Yes. So if you kowtow is another one. You bow.
Kowtow.
You get down on the floor and you bow to someone. You are showing your respect to
You
another
prostrate yourself.
person. Yes.
It means you are sort of giving in. You are saying that person is greater than me.
Yeah.
I bow to you. I prostrate myself.
You submit.
And you submit
Anyway.
to their splendour.
Okay. Elaf says, okay, we get it. So it's never good when your audience is telling you to shut up.
And normally people are accusing you of too much explanation.
No, people never accuse me because I never do it too much.
Well, you know, I'm here as an assistant.
You
I'm
certainly
not
are.
a trained teacher, so, you know, you'll have to bear with me.
We
I
know.
apologise for my clumsiness in the teaching area.
Okay. Steve, I was watching the news before we came on today, and I noticed another thing that happens now. It has been a big problem in the United States. I'm sure you've seen it on social media where lots of people are going into stores, shops, department stores, and they're going in and they're just stealing things. They're just taking things. And there is a word for that. We call it shoplifting. Shoplifting. There it is now on the screen. You can see there is a naughty guy, a naughty man. It could be a woman, of course, because women can also shoplift. And he's stealing some stuff from a shop. Shoplifting. So you go into the shop, you don't want to buy anything, you want it all for free. So instead of paying for it, you just take it away. You put it in a bag or maybe in your pocket and you walk out. But these days it would appear that people are becoming even more bold.
Brazen.
Yes, they have no fear.
There's a couple of words. Bold, brazen. It means you don't care, you just do it. You don't care what anybody says, thinks. He's a bit brazen.
So this is a big problem in the United States, where lots of people are going into shops and just taking things in front of everyone without having a care in the world. And apparently here in the UK, shoplifting has become a huge problem. Apparently more and more people now are going into stores, into shops and just stealing things. And sometimes they are doing it completely openly without hiding it. And it would appear that the most recent police figures state that hundreds of thousands of shoplifting events or cases of shoplifting are never solved. So it would appear that shoplifting is something that is now common here as well. And I'm wondering, what about you out there in YouTube land? What about shoplifting where you are? So if you go into a shop and steal something and then maybe someone catches you doing it, what happens? Can you go to prison? Are you arrested by the police? Or do they just wave to you and say, have a nice day, like in the United States and also here? So it would appear that shoplifting has become very, very common here in the UK now. What about you, Steve? Have you had any experience of shoplifting?
Not that I would admit to. A friend of mine works in a retail shop in a well-known supermarket.
Oh.
And where they have a petrol forecourt as well.
So it sells petrol and also
it has petrol and groceries.
And it has a convenience store as well.
And it has a convenience store attached to it. I think they call it an express store. And he said that there's shoplifters all the time. But if somebody comes in and shoplifts, the problem now is that they're not allowed to restrain anybody that shoplifts. You're not allowed to touch anybody, because if you do, they will then sue you. So it's very difficult. So if somebody shoplifts, they've been told as employees not to do anything. Because if they were to try and restrain somebody, they would lose their job. And in fact, a colleague of his, reacted, saw somebody stealing something, grabbed them, tried to stop them getting out, and he was sacked by the boss of the store, because the boss said, you were told that you weren't to restrain anybody and you did, and because we could get into serious trouble. So also they have lots of petrol stolen as well. People just turn up.
How do you steal petrol?
Well, because you have to pay in the shop.
Oh, I see. So they're putting petrol into their car and then just driving off.
Or they are putting petrol in their car or diesel. I'm not going to be discriminatory here. Could be diesel as well. And then they go into the shop and say, oh, I'm very sorry, I've forgotten my credit card. And then the procedure then is that they are to fill in their name and address on a piece of paper.
Okay.
And then that's the procedure, and then the shop would follow it up, of course, for payment. But of course,
But surely that's not stealing.
Well, it is, because they just give a false address.
Ah.
And there are certain groups of people, I'll call them travellers, that commonly do this according to him. But it's very common for people just to drive off. And even he said on one occasion the police were in the shop buying sandwiches for their lunch, and somebody was stealing petrol, and my friend went to the policeman and said, look, I know these people, they come in here, they're always stealing petrol, they're going to drive off. And the policeman turned around and said, it's not worth me doing anything. Because the police now in this country won't do anything if it's under £350 worth of stolen goods.
So now there is a limit. So anything under a certain amount, it is seen as not valuable.
It's seen as we should all be doing it. We should actually all be stealing regularly anything under £350.
Where there, Steve? No. We're not going to recommend that people steal. Can I just get that clear?
Well, I said that to my friend because we're all paying taxes. Well, I'm working, you're working, we're paying taxes because the price of the goods in the shops all go up. We're paying for this because a minority of the population are deliberately getting away with it, bending the rules, knowing that they can get away with it. But that's life, unfortunately.
Yes. But I think it's become more and more common as people are less willing to get involved. So if you can walk into a shop and steal something and nothing happens, then it's very tempting to keep doing it. So I can understand why people are doing it if they don't have any risk of being punished. So you can almost understand why they do it.
People with no moral standards or no concern for the sort of social structure or the way that society works, because it'd be ideal if things were self-policing. Then yes, people will take advantage of that.
Of course, what they should do, the petrol station, I could solve that straight away. You pay for the petrol first, so the machine will not work. So you can't get the petrol from the machine or the fuel from the machine until you've put your card into the machine, put your number in, and also put how much you want, or maybe you just put the card in and then fill and then press a button and then it pays.
Well, some are like that, Mr. Duncan. There is one that I go to after a certain time at night. You have to pay at the pump, pay at pump, as they say. And you have to put your card in first, and once that's verified, it takes £100 out, and then you fill up with however much fuel you want. And then if, for example, you only put £50 worth of fuel in, it pays you the other £50 back. So it takes £100 out. But of course, most places don't want you to do that because they want you to go into the shop to buy all the other things as well.
Yeah, but you could still do that.
You could do that just for the fuel, but then people might just pay for the fuel and then drive off, and they won't go in and buy all the other things that make profit for the shop.
Yes, but I still don't think that's actually. I think it is. I can see the point, but it does seem like a very obvious thing. You just pay in advance. In fact, did you know that there are actually shops now that have no staff, and you go in and you buy everything, you put everything into the basket, and then as you leave, it will charge your card for it.
Right.
I don't know how it does it, but it's amazing. There is a hospital, I think it's one of the hospitals here, in fact, near Shrewsbury or Telford, and they have this amazing shop now that has no staff, and you just go in there, but you can't enter until you've put your debit card or your credit card into the machine.
Right.
And I think it's similar to what you just said about the fuel. It will then take a certain amount of money from the card, and then you go into the shop and go through and you scan. It scans the things as you leave, and then it works everything out for you. So you don't have to stand in a queue. You don't have to wait. You just pick what you want and then you walk out.
How does it know what you've picked up from the shelf? That's very clever.
I have no idea how it does it. It's like witchcraft.
Well, there is a McDonald's near somewhere in Birmingham. I went with a friend of mine, met up with a work colleague of mine. She wanted to meet up in McDonald's, so we met there. And there were no staff there taking orders. You couldn't go up to the desk and order. There wasn't a desk. You just had to order on a screen when you went in, pay for it, and then the meal just appeared in a hat like a hatch.
Yes, there are these serverless McDonald's.
Yes, I've been into one. I didn't. Well, I suppose you get used to it, but it was very strange because it must be awful working in one of these fast food places. I would imagine that you get a lot of abuse from customers.
Late at night.
Particularly late at night, yes.
Because I used to work in retail many, many years ago in my younger days when I was young and beautiful, not like now. And I used to work in retail and it was a horrible job. And I used to get threatened. People would threaten me. They said they would wait around the corner. So when I left, they were going to beat me up. They never did. But sometimes they would return things. And of course, they couldn't get the money back because they used it. And they would get into a fight. And sometimes they would bring other people into the shop as well to cause trouble. And that was way back in the early 1990s. So imagine what it's like now.
Yes, this is anyway. We won't rant on about that. But yes, it's. It seems that there is like an unwritten rule. A friend of mine, another friend of mine, lost £250 in a supermarket. They were out shopping, and their wallet was stolen. And for some reason, he had £250 in cash.
Nice.
He was going to buy I don't know what he'd drawn the money out because he wanted to buy something.
Okay.
And he had to pay cash. This was a couple of years ago. And he reported it to the police and they said, there's nothing we can do. We won't follow it up if it's under... Well, he said for £250, it's not worth us doing anything.
No. Well, that's it. It's just a small amount. So there is a sort of limit. Palmyra says you must be careful when using the metro in Rome. My colleague's husband lost €1,000. All I can say is... how do you have €1,000 in your pocket? I can only dream of that. But yes, pickpockets. That's another one. In China, I remember catching a pickpocket in Tiananmen Square when I was in China, and this young girl was going into people's rucksacks or their backpacks, and they were opening them and taking things out. And I caught a girl doing it, and I stopped her. And I told the tourists what was happening.
Oh.
But yes, on the metro, when it's very busy, you know what happens, Steve? Everyone gets onto the metro and they're all pressed together. All the bodies are pressed close. And that's when people start to put their hands into your pockets and into your handbag and things like that.
Talking of stealing, Tom Rocks asks, have you ever had any of your videos being copied or stolen?
All of them. All of them. My videos are everywhere, even the old ones from 10 or 15 years ago. So they're everywhere. There's someone in Russia selling all of my lessons on DVD. And I get nothing. I get nothing for it. They're doing it illegally. Illegally, you see, against the law.
Perhaps you ought to tell Putin. Maybe he would do something about it for you.
Yes. I demand recompense or reparations, because everyone's talking about that at the moment. So I demand reparations from the Russian government for all of those DVDs that are being sold there.
Oh, do you think that's a good point, Mr. Duncan? Do you think when we go to Rome, we can get reparations for 2,000 years ago when the Romans ravaged England and took lots of slaves back. Do you think we can get reparations for that? I'm sure if I went back far enough, some of my relatives would have been taken to Italy. We wouldn't have been called Italy then. Do you think we'd be able to get reparations, Mr. Duncan? We could try.
Well, it might be a subject to raise after we've been to Italy.
Maybe. I'm joking, of course, by the way. I'm joking. I don't mean that. Anyway, I won't say why I'm saying that. Nabil is enjoying the style of this show. Good, I'm glad you are. Please tell your friends.
I'm glad somebody is enjoying it.
Yes.
Because I'm not enjoying it from where I am, to be honest. I'm waiting for it to get better, if I was honest with you. Shoplifting. So I think we've covered that one. I think we've knocked that one out of the stadium.
I must admit, Mr. Duncan, I'm going to admit this live on air.
Oh, okay.
When I was a child, when I was a teenager, a very young teenager, a friend of mine and I, we did a bit of shoplifting, Mr. Duncan.
So, pardon?
I'm going to admit it live on air, and yes, we did.
You.
I know, because when you're sort of 12, children when they're that age, they sometimes do things which are wrong, bad. But
you used to go.
It was exciting at the time.
Mr. Steve used to steal things from shops.
Just for a laugh.
Oh.
Looking back now, it was a silly thing to do, obviously. But you do things when you're children sometimes because you're exploring the world. It's just exciting. It was exciting, actually. I must admit, I might do it again.
I don't think breaking the law is something you should do at any age. But at least I know. I know now. I have to keep my eye on Mr. Steve. Now I know that he is a shoplifter.
I think, of course, in any capital city, I mean, Saturino says in Italian cities, don't keep your wallet in your back pocket. Yeah, I think crime in London is appalling. So, in any big city, there's always the risk of pickpockets and, losing your valuables if you've got... It's a good idea not to go around wearing clothes and jewellery that mark you out as being... or could label you or make you stand out as somebody who has money.
Oh, well, I think I'm safe.
Yeah, so we won't be walking around with branded clothes.
No one's going to rob me.
Gold watches and rings. We won't be wearing any... Talking of rings, I haven't got my ring on, Mr. Duncan.
Mr. Steve, you know what happens. I have to come over there.
You'll have to slap me, Mr. Duncan.
I have to smack your bottom until it's cherry red. Naughty man. So there we go. Today's confession is, as a child, Mr. Steve used to steal things from the local shop. Of course, I know what happened.
Who hasn't?
You got caught.
We won't go into that, Mr. Duncan.
You got caught, didn't you, Steve?
I have a record. I am a criminal.
That's
not true.
I can't believe that Mr. Steve has a criminal record.
I don't have a criminal record, Mr. Duncan.
So what did you steal?
I can't even remember now. It's so long ago, Mr. Duncan. It's so long ago.
So it wasn't colour TVs.
It was nothing like that, Mr.
Colour TVs.
It was just sweets or something. Children do that, don't they? It's like stealing apples from an orchard. Scrumping, they call it. Kids do that sort of thing.
Yes.
You grow out of it, thankfully. I grew out of it. It was about 25 before I stopped, but I grew out of it eventually. I'm joking, of course.
So your days of stealing things from shops is over.
I'm a reformed character, Mr. Duncan.
So you've put your life of crime behind you.
Yes, my life of crime is behind me. I've been working legitimately for nearly 40 years.
Good.
Well, over 40 years, actually.
That's good. That's very reassuring to know. We are going to cheer things up. Are you ready, Mr. Steve, to be cheered up?
God knows I need it, Mr. Duncan.
I think we all need it, to be honest. That every time I put the news on, I want to jump out the nearest window, to be honest, because it's so depressing. Everyone is so, oh. That's all I hear now when I put the news on. I just hear this groaning sound. Oh. That's all they do now. They don't even give us the news anymore. They just go, oh.
Yes, Saturina, we'll have to leave our Rolexes at home.
Yes. Yes, my Pierre Cardin.
It's a good idea.
My Rolex. I shall have to put my £20,000 Rolex in a safe place. Maybe I'll just leave it here.
My gold-plated jacket.
My diamond nose piercing. Actually, I tell you where I put all of my valuables when I go out. I put them down the front of my underpants. I put them down there because I know that no one is going to go anywhere near there. You see? So if you want to avoid having your pockets picked, put everything down the front of your underwear and they will never, ever go there.
Worth a try, though.
Happiness. Mr. Steve. Happiness. Happy. To be happy. Are you happy, Mr. Steve?
I'm so happy, Mr. Duncan. I'm nearly bursting.
What the hell was that?
What was that? Did something flash across the screen, Mr. Duncan?
What was that then? So it just sort of very weird happened.
Let's have another look.
Laugh again. There it was.
What was
again.
that?
Did you see that?
No.
Okay, do it again.
Well, I'm not looking at the screen. I'm looking at the camera.
Well, laugh and look at the screen. What was that?
That was a puppet, Mr. Duncan.
It was
an evil puppet.
So that will happen every time. Every time Mr. Steve laughs, it looks as if that's what's going. Sorry.
Is that from Thunderbirds?
It is. It's from Thunderbirds. It's a very unusual thing where the puppets are actually laughing. It's the only time in the history of any of those puppet programs that the puppets actually laughed.
Let's have a look. I didn't really see it, Mr. Duncan. Can you put it on again?
Yeah.
I saw fillings there. They actually took the time to put fillings.
They put fillings in the puppets.
In the puppets' mouths to make it look more realistic.
Can you believe it?
Just in case we couldn't tell they were puppets.
Yes.
That looks like a puppet, but it's got fillings. It can't be a puppet.
Some people might think that we're puppets being controlled. Hello, I'm Puppet Duncan, and this over here is Puppet Steve. Hello, are you enjoying the show today?
Are you enjoying this English lesson? Are you enjoying this English lesson today?
It's very nice.
I'll also have to go up and down.
Okay.
Maybe that's enough of that, Mr. Duncan.
That is definitely enough of that. Or else...
Palmyra said, I stole, in inverted commas, a can of peas.
A can of peas?
A can of peas. You should go to prison for 25 years.
Yes. It should be a year for every pea.
Accidentally. Yes, accidentally. You can.
Can you shoplift accidentally?
Yes, because if you are maybe you're thinking about something important, and you just wander into a shop and you wander out, and suddenly you realise you haven't paid for it. I know other people that have done that, and in fact, it's quite easy. Apparently, you know these self-checkouts where you have to put your goods through and scan it yourself. They're in all the supermarkets here in the UK. Self-checkouts. Apparently, people have worked out ways of stealing with those. I mean, there are usually people watching.
I never used them.
Pardon?
I never used them.
No, well, I use them all the time because I don't want to queue up with people. Particularly, it's the worst thing possible. I've said this before. You're in a supermarket queue, you're in a rush, and in front of you is, I'm not being disparaging here, although people will say I am being ageist, that if you have let's just say an elderly person in front of you with things to check out, you know you're going to be a long time in that queue. So I'm very ageist, particularly if it's an elderly lady, because they will want to talk to the assistant quite a lot, and but generally they will be very slow to move their things through, and I will scan the queues, and if there is an elderly person. Pardon?
What are you talking about?
If I'm going to a supermarket,
you look at
there's
the queues.
There's lots of checkout desks.
Okay. I have no idea what you're talking about now.
No.
So tell us briefly what it is you're trying to tell us.
Right. So you're in a shop. You've got a basket full of goods. You're in Tesco's or Sainsbury's
or Tesco's
or Waitrose if you've got lots of money.
Okay.
Or Aldi if you haven't got very much.
Okay. Stop listing supermarkets.
And you've got your and there are you don't want to go to a self.
So these are automatic checkouts.
No, if you don't want, say you've got a big basket of things, so you can't go to the self checkout. Okay, because you've got too much stuff.
So instead, you have to go in a queue.
You have to go in a queue, and there might be 10. Then it sounds awful for me to say, but I will scan if I see. Mothers with children, elderly people. What I want is young people who are going to move through very quickly, pay and go. I don't want to be behind somebody who I think will take much longer to go through that queue. That may sound ageist.
It does.
But if you're in a rush, if you're working in a rush...
Steve, how do you know there isn't somebody standing behind you thinking the same thing?
Because they will take one look at me and say, well, now there's somebody who's going places. He's obviously a very successful businessman. He hasn't got very much time. He's going to be going very quickly through this till.
The second part was definitely right. You haven't got much time.
He's not going to be hanging around chatting to the shop assistant behind the till.
Okay.
They're going to be in and out very quickly, and that's what you want when you go to a supermarket.
Yeah.
So sorry, Lewis, if I saw you in front of me in a queue.
What?
Lewis? I'm joking.
Why are you picking on Lewis?
I would go on to the next one.
Steve, stop doing this.
I'm joking.
Do you realise every time you open your mouth, bad things happen?
Because obviously I would be talking to Lewis if I saw Lewis in the checkout.
Stop picking on Lewis.
I'm not picking on Lewis.
But you keep...
I don't know anybody else who's, let's just say mature, who is watching us today.
God almighty.
I'm fine. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. You know I'm honest, Mr. Duncan.
So basically you don't like old people.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Oh, okay.
I in all my choirs... The choirs are full of people who are much older than me.
Yes.
And I get on very well. But in a supermarket queue, that's a different thing altogether. So I want to be in and out. It's like a military operation for me going to the supermarket, in, out.
So you're only ageist when you go into a supermarket?
I'm not saying it's ageist. I'm just making a choice. I can see, there's a till with somebody... who I'm not going to go into it. I think I've said enough.
I think you have.
I think I've said enough.
Well,
forgive me, Lewis.
You've offended the whole population of Italy, and now you've offended everyone over a certain age.
Let's change it. What about the phrase, Mr. When in Rome? There's a good phrase to use.
Yes.
When in Rome.
Yes.
As we're going to Rome, there's a well-known English expression called when in Rome.
Yes. When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Do as the Romans do. Adopt their customs. Adopt the way they do things.
Steve, it doesn't have to be Rome. It can be anywhere.
I know. That's what I mean.
No, I'm not telling you. I'm telling the people out there watching. It's not just us talking at the moment. There are human beings out there as well watching us. So that's who I'm talking to.
That's it.
So it's not talking to you, Steve. I'm talking out there, you see, in YouTube land.
So if you go and visit a different country or maybe a different part of the country that you live in, and there are different customs and ways of doing things, rather than do things the way that you normally do it, you can use the expression, oh, well, when in Rome, I'm going to do it the way they're doing it.
Yes. So the full phrase is, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I think it might be Shakespeare.
Adopt the local customs.
So wherever you are, you just blend in.
You blend in because this is what British people are very bad at doing. This is our reputation abroad, is that when we go abroad to another country, we don't adopt the way of life over there. We try to import what we do, and we don't want to change.
Yes, well, we have a terrible reputation.
We've got a very bad reputation. So we go abroad.
For example, Spain.
Yes.
We go to Spain and then we complain in Spain that there are no English meals, or maybe the breakfast isn't the same as the British breakfast.
That's it.
Or maybe we complain about everyone not speaking English. So that is something that the British have a very bad reputation.
Going abroad and wanting to eat fish and chips when you're in Rome, for example. You can probably get fish and chips in Rome, but they don't want to change. They don't want to try any local food, any local drink. It's going to be lager, fish and chips, no matter where you are. That's the reputation of the British.
Yes.
By the way, in a hurry for what, says Mario? Well, when you know what it's like when you stand in a queue. You get frustrated, particularly if I'm going if I'm working, I might need to get lunch for some customers, and I've got to get to this appointment, that appointment. And you start to get stressed if you think that time is running out.
Although everything stresses Mr. Steve.
Alessandra, Rome wasn't built in a day. Yes, there's another good expression that's obviously related to going to Rome.
Well, yes. Well, it's not related to going to Rome. It's related to not worrying about taking a long time to do something. So it's an expression that means whatever it is, even if you're learning English, you can't rush. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yes. If you want something to be well planned, to work out the way you want it to, it's going to take time. So if you wanted to build a business up and you were frustrated that it wasn't working or making as much money, somebody might say to you, well, Rome wasn't built in a day. And it's telling you that you need to allow more time for whatever it is you're doing to come to fruition. Fruition, there's a good word. Another new word, Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
To become real.
That's it. So something growing, and then suddenly you have the reward, the fruition, or the fruits, if you will. So we're going to talk very quickly, Steve, about today's subject, being happy. And I think today we've had quite a happy live stream.
I thought you were going to put that mannequin up again.
What you mean? That you mean?
That's the one. That is quite funny. I like the way his hand's sort of in front of his face.
Yes. He
looks a bit manic, almost a mad laugh.
Almost crazy. Happy.
I thought we'd talked about all the subjects, but I didn't know we got another subject.
Yes.
All roads lead to Rome. There's another one, Lorella.
Yes.
There's another phrase. All roads lead to Rome.
That's it. So wherever you are, maybe you can say that you are in a place where wherever you go, you are near to a certain monument or a certain place, or maybe the direction you are going in. So eventually you all end up in the same place. All roads lead to Rome. I like it. Anyway, Steve, we've got to move on because we only have 20 minutes. Happy, Steve. Are you happy today, Steve?
Yes. No. All right. So ask me that question again.
But it doesn't work when you tell me to do it. Steve, are you happy?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Was it worth it? I don't think so.
I was acting.
Really?
I am really happy today, Mr. Duncan.
You was badly acting.
I don't know why I'm happy today. I think it's because I went for a run at 8 o'clock and it sort of livened me up. I've discovered that early morning exercise
Yes.
is brilliant. I've never done it in my entire life. I've always shied away from early morning exercise. I've always done it sort of late afternoon, early evening. But I've discovered that if you exercise early in the morning, get up, straight out, it livens you up. It just wakes you up. I can't believe it's taken to reach the ripe old age of 63 to discover that that is in fact good for you.
Good. For me, my exercise in the morning is just getting out of bed. That's it. That's all I need. Just lifting my body away from the bed and standing up. That's it. That's all I need. That's my morning exercise done.
Lorella says, today you two seem to be happy and funny more than usual. Well, because I knew Mr. Duncan's theme was happy, we obviously couldn't be sad. So, and part of what we do is to enrich people's lives and give them laughter and hope for the future. We're almost like a public service, aren't we, Mr.
Yes.
Duncan?
Well,
I think.
So instead of having antidepressants, you can just watch us.
Just watch us and think to yourself, my God, their lives are far worse than mine.
Yes.
And that'll cheer you up straight away.
Yes. You'll realise that there are people who are much worse off
Yes.
than you just by watching us. For
You're
10
laughing at us, not with us.
Yes.
There's a good expression. Laughing at somebody, not with them.
To be in a positive state of mind is to be happy. So we would often say positivity. To be positive is a good way of describing a happy person, a person who is in a positive state of mind. The feeling of hopefulness. If there is one thing that we all need, the one thing that springs eternal in the human soul, it is hope. That's what we need. Everyone needs some hope in their lives to continue, to carry on, to live another day. So the feeling of hopefulness can be a good way of defining being happy, I suppose. An emotional state in the sense of mood. And I think mood is actually quite a good word when you think about it, because there are many ways of describing mood when you think about it. So when we say mood, we basically mean your emotion, your emotional condition at that particular moment in time, your mood. For example, I suppose, Steve, you can be in a good mood.
Yes. What are you trying to say, Mr. Duncan? Have you frozen?
No.
I thought you'd frozen on camera then.
You can be in a good mood. You can be in a bad mood. You can also be in... There's another type of mood that you can be in when you think about it. So maybe you are in a good mood.
A bad mood.
A bad mood.
An in-between mood.
In-between mood.
You're neither a neutral mood.
Yes. You're just...
Yeah.
Meh. M-E-H. It is a word we used to use a lot in the 90s. If you are neither happy nor sad, you just say meh. Meh. I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I'm just meh. In between.
Yes, well, I think sometimes you just wake up. I think if you have a bad night's sleep, it can put you in a bad mood.
Yes.
I think sometimes you just wake up and you just don't. Like today, I woke up and I felt quite bright, quite positive. But other days, you wake up and you just think, oh, And I think I don't know why that is. Maybe you don't sleep so well. Maybe you've had a bad dream and you don't realise it. It's very difficult to pull yourself out of a bad mood without taking, alcohol or drugs.
Yes.
Not that we would ever do that or condone it.
That's probably why a lot of people do. So the emotional state and the sense of mood, and exercise, of course, is supposed to be good for you because it can release all of those lovely endorphins.
Endorphins, yes, that's what running does as well. Exercise releases lots of endorphins. The happy chemical, I think it's in your brain, that makes you feel happy. Exercise can induce that. Laughter, social interaction. That's why social interaction is important for us humans, because we are a naturally sociable species. At least most of us are.
Yes.
Not saying all of us are.
Yes, I think Mr. Steve is on about me because I can be quite misanthropic, to be honest.
Pardon?
Misanthropic.
What have you missed?
A person who is misanthropic is a person who doesn't really like other people. They prefer their own company. So a misanthropic. You must have heard of that word.
I have now.
The feeling of contentment. Now, I think this is an interesting word to show. If you are content, I think it can be happiness, but I think it takes in a lot more as well, doesn't it? The word content. If you're content,
you will be happy if you're content, but there are reasons for feeling that you are contented. Maybe you have a lovely partner. Maybe you have a nice job. Maybe you have plenty. You don't have any money worries or relationship worries. You can say to yourself, I'm content with what I've got in my life. I'm happy with what I have. I don't need any more. Everything's just right. I'm feeling content with my life. I'm not speaking about myself, obviously, because I haven't got a Ford Mustang on the drive.
No.
That would make me very content. So without that, I will not ever be content. I only have 2 models, not the real thing. I'm joking, of course. I'm joking.
Okay. I don't know
As I was about being impatient in queues at supermarkets, I was sort of joking. And yes, as Mario says, you can often have nice conversations with people in the queues and learn something about life. I was just making a point that when you're in a rush, then it becomes annoying. And you won't be so content. But yes, content, that is a good word. I'm content. How many people say that these days?
Maybe you're satisfied with your life so far. There is nothing that can come along and spoil that feeling. You have contentment.
Is anybody watching today content? Would you admit to being content with your life? More or less, on balance, more positives than negatives.
Yes. Vitas says great wealth. Great wealth. Well, not necessarily. I think having lots of money doesn't necessarily mean you will be content, because you might find that everything becomes empty without meaning. Because if you can buy anything, if you have lots of money, then everything becomes valueless.
I'd like to find out if that's true, though.
Yes.
So if someone would like to give me £1 million, I'll tell them whether I feel content with that money or not. A little experiment, I think, needs to be conducted here.
I don't think anything will make you happy, Steve, to be honest.
I don't think $1 million's enough. I think $1 billion. I think they think that actually 10 million makes most people very happy.
Okay.
Because anything after that, you can't. It's very difficult to spend it. I'd like to try, of course. If I had £1 billion, would I be more content than I am now?
$1 billion?
I don't think I would be.
$1 billion?
If I had £1 billion or even $1 million.
Steve, I don't mean to be rude, but that's a stupid figure.
All right, $1 million then.
Yeah, I think $1 million. I don't know. See, I don't think I would like that. I don't think I would enjoy having lots and lots and lots of money.
I would enjoy
Because-
you having lots and lots of money.
Steve.
If you can't enjoy it, Mr. Duncan, I will.
I'm trying to make a serious point here. If you just, I think it doesn't just change you as a person. I think it also changes other people's view of you as a person as well.
Yes.
So I never want someone to judge me based on having lots and lots of money, because I would find that would always be the distraction.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Duncan, if you get £1 million, I won't tell anyone, and neither should you, and then we will be content just knowing you've got that £1 million.
I think
we
people
won't let
would know.
anybody know.
I
We
think
won't tell them.
Steve, people would definitely know.
Why?
I'd suddenly be in a huge studio with lots of professional lighting and cameras.
Tom Rock says, I need more English to be content.
Oh.
So this hasn't been enough English for you today. We've been constantly speaking. You can't get any more English out of us today.
Well, you have been constantly speaking. Here's another one, Steve. We've got to move on. To be elated. I like that word. So to feel elation. You are having a moment of happiness, maybe a very strong feeling of happiness, some good news. Maybe someone has donated £1 million to Mr. Duncan's PayPal.
Which they obviously are going to do because of this experiment that we want to conduct.
Okay.
Mr. Steve, would you be happier if I was a millionaire, says Lewis? Having money, you only need so much, don't you? I don't think I'll be any happier.
No.
I am quite comfortable. We're not poor by any standards. But so having a lot more, I don't think would make that much difference. But you do need to be, as you say, Lewis, you have to, you want to be in a position where you're not worrying about paying your bills, food, council tax, whatever. It's nice to be in that position where you don't have to worry about it, because it's one of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know, you've got to have shelter, you've got to have so much money. You don't want those worries, because then when you haven't got those worries, you can concentrate on the other sides of human nature, which is art and culture. But you can't think about those if you're worrying about money and relationships and not having somewhere to live and things like that.
As long as I have a roll of toilet paper to wipe my bum with, anything else I could probably get by, but I must have that soft, beautiful, quilted toilet paper. To be buoyant. Oh, I like this one. Now, this is a word that can be used in many ways. Floating. To be buoyant. So maybe something floating on the water can be described as buoyant. It does not sink.
Yes.
It stays afloat on the water. But of course, when we're talking about your mood, the same thing can also happen. You can be buoyant.
You're very buoyant today. You can say, if you want to impress somebody with your English language, with your use of different words, you're very buoyant today. If somebody is happy, and they will say, "Oh, that's an unusual word. Where did you learn that?" And you will say, "I've been on Mr. Duncan's English teaching channel," and there you can tell all your friends about it. No, but yes, no, buoyant. It just means like something floating on the water.
Yes.
You're up. You're not sinking down into depression.
Good. Here are some words, some brief words. Enthusiastic. You can be upbeat as well. I like that one, upbeat.
Yes.
A person who is lively, jolly. They are positive as well. I think that's one of the biggest things about being happy. To be happy, I think you also need to be positive about everything around you. Bright, cheerful, and of course optimistic. An optimistic person is always looking forward to something. So for example, we are looking forward to meeting you in Rome if you are going to join us for our lovely roam around Rome.
And we will be very buoyant.
Yes.
It's not a phrase that's used commonly. I've got to say, it's you would normally, if you saw somebody that was very happy, you would say, as you say, you're very upbeat today. You're very positive. You're very bright. You're very cheerful, happy, optimistic. You could use the word buoyant, and you would certainly impress people if you used it. If you were learning the English language, your use of your expanding vocabulary. I found that difficult to pronounce then.
Ironically.
I'm over it there now. But yes, it is a word you can use. Open-minded, says Tom. Yes, open-minded. Yes, if you're open-minded, you're often happy.
Sanguine. Oh, Mr. Steve. Now, there is an interesting word. Sanguine. As an adjective, you are describing a person who is naively happy. So it is possible to be too happy, where you just don't have a care in the world. You can be almost happy to the point of almost being foolish. You do things without taking them seriously because you are so happy about everything.
Maybe you're not thinking of the negatives. Maybe you're only thinking of the positives when you go somewhere. So you're, yes, maybe you're going to a party and you're sanguine. You're thinking of all the positive things that could happen. You're not letting your mind entertain any notions of maybe fights or people getting drunk and hitting you or being rejected if you approach somebody for a date.
So you are feeling very happy about doing something, and you might not take all of the precautions that you normally would because your emotions have taken over.
Right. That's a good word, Mr. Duncan. Sanguine. It's not a word that you hear used very often, but it's obviously very pertinent to our discussion today.
Well, it's when you're describing a person who is naive. They are too optimistic.
You're too sanguine. I don't know how you would use that word. It's not one I've ever used.
Here we go. We're moving on, Steve. To have a spring in one step. So this is a nice phrase. You have a spring in your step.
Yes.
So everything you are doing, your whole body language is expressing your happiness. You have a spring in your step.
Because when you're happy and contented and positive, you've got more energy. And when you've got more energy, people will see that in the way that you walk, in the way that you talk, in the way that you interact with other people. If you're depressed and sad, well, you'll be slower, you'll have less energy because your brain is using up all the energy on worry, and you've got nothing left for any other part of your body. It's horrible when, of course, moods, we all go up and down in our moods. And sometimes we're happy, other days we're not. And sometimes there's no, you can't put a reason behind it.
No.
As I've said to you, sometimes you wake up, you might go to bed happy, and then you wake up in the morning and you just think, oh, I don't want to get out of bed today. I don't want to go to, everything becomes an effort. And you feel sort of a bit sad and a bit down. But that's natural, isn't it? That's part of the human condition. We're not going to be happy. I mean, I'm happy now. I'm always worried, actually, when I'm very happy, because I know I'm going to be sad. So, because your moods go up and down, don't you? So later on, when I come off this live stream,
Steve,
Mr. Duncan, you can expect me to get depressed very quickly, because I'm on a high at the moment.
Okay.
It's not going to last.
No, it never does.
But that's...
It never does with you.
This is the trouble. It's cycles. Our moods go in cycles.
Yes. Well,
although some people...
You're yours from hour to hour. I never know.
Minute to minute. Some people, of course.
Anyway, Steve.
You meet them and they're always happy, aren't they? Some people have... Anyway, right,
Steve,
yes.
we've got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes to make people even happier than they are already. Is that possible?
Look, if we haven't done it by now, it's never going to happen. Delighted, pleased and glad are other synonyms of happy. To be delighted, pleased and glad. And I suppose what makes you happy? I will tell you now what makes me happy. What makes me happy is just having those simple things, small moments of time. I often find as I go through life that it's the small moments, the things that might be fleeting or brief, those little moments are the ones that quite often bring a smile to my face. So maybe you can sit in a big golden palace with lots and lots of money, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be happy. And yet you might have small things that just bring a smile to your face, maybe your favourite snack, or maybe seeing Mr. Steve first thing in the morning, and you think, oh, I am so lucky. Such a small, simple thing can make me happy.
Somebody, just a loved one, bringing you a cup of coffee, or cooking you a nice meal. Yes, money isn't the answer to everything. You need a certain amount, but after that, it doesn't necessarily bring you more happiness. I'll tell you what would make Mr. Duncan very happy, viewers. If you want to make Mr. Duncan very happy, give him a like.
Oh, okay.
To today's live stream.
Yes.
If you haven't already, if you have, thank you very much. Give Mr. Duncan a like. It will make him very... It's just simple things. Just give a like. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Steve.
Elaf is tickled pink.
Yes.
If you're tickled pink, it means you're really happy.
Yes, something has made you happy. It has given you a lot of pleasure. You are tickled pink. Maybe a beautiful present, maybe a present that your friend buys for you, and it's something lovely, and you go, oh, I'm tickled pink.
Thank you, Beatrice, for your comment at the end there. Thank you to everyone for watching today, and we hope we've made you as happy as you've made us by being here today with your lovely comment.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Steve.
Pardon?
I said thank you, Steve.
And I shall see you soon for a cup of tea, and I shall see you again next week. Well, I won't see you. I will see your comments.
Yes, we understand. We understand that you can't see everyone watching, Steve. See, that we all know. You don't have to explain it to us.
Ta-ta.
Thank you, Steve. That was Mr. Steve explaining things in far too much detail. More detail than was required, if I was honest. Well, that's it. It's almost time to go. It's almost time to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed all of this, whatever it was. I hope it's made you feel happy and put a smile on your face today. Thank you very much for watching. This is Mr. Duncan. I will be back with you next Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time is when I'm back with you. Look out for my short lessons. Just very short, very brief, very concise lessons during the week. And I hope you will join me again next Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. Thank you very much. It's very nice. Yes, so many lovely messages today. Mr. Duncan, you always make us happy. Oh, thank you very much. I am very pleased to hear that. Before I go, can I remind you again, we are going to be in Rome during the first week of June. If you want to get in touch to let me know if you are interested, there is the email address on the screen right now. Just give me your name, your real name, your proper name. Tell me that you're interested and I will send you all of the details and maybe we can meet for real. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying thanks for watching. See you soon. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Have a good week. Until next week. And of course, ta-ta for now. Stay happy.